When I first came into what has been called the Hebrew or Hebraic roots movement over 13 years ago, I realized very quickly that what was happening to me and my family was happening to millions of people all over the world, and that this was definitely a divine move of Father's Spirit, waking up His children and showing us the true faith that was handed to the disciples by Yeshua to take to the whole world. The first thing Father convicted us about was honoring His Sabbath. And once we started keeping Sabbath, it was as if a mighty door opened to Father's presence, whereby we began to be convicted about keeping only His feast days, as recorded in Leviticus chapter 23. And for the first time in my life, I began to have a desire to read the entire Old Testament and re-examine everything I believed was the truth. Father showed us we were no longer Gentiles, but part of the commonwealth of Israel, a seed of Abraham, joint heirs to the promises and conditions of all the covenants. This was an amazing revelation. I quickly developed a saying that the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know and how much there is to learn. And when learning about the Aleph Tav, I began to realize again how little I knew about this character symbol and how much there was for me to learn from its placement in the Hebrew text that was apparently important enough for me to spend over 4 years of my life in obedience to Father's Spirit. As I began to locate the Aleph Tavs and create the Messianic Aleph Tav scriptures, I was impressed to create an accurate rendition that believers could use to study from and gain a deeper understanding as to why the Aleph Tavs were placed where they were. I began to see that it was not only important to see where the Aleph Tavs were placed, but where they were not placed in the text also. A case in point I write about in the introduction is the story of the life of Jacob and Esau in Genesis 25:28. Both Jacob and Esau have Aleph Tavs, symbols, in front of their names in the beginning of their life together. But the last time we see the Aleph Tav symbol used in front of Esau's name is Genesis chapter 27, verse 1. On that day, Isaiah calls to Esau to ask him to hunt him some savory meat so that he may bless Esau. Even though Esau's name is used another 78 times in the Torah after this event, the Aleph Tav symbol continues to be only in front of Jacob's name and never again in front of Esau's name. The only logical reason for this could be because the covenant blessing through the birthright given by the Yahed to Esau was removed from him when he sold it to Jacob for a bowl of soup. Confirmation of this reasoning is in Genesis 25, verse 34. For so despised Esau his Aleph Tav birthright. Another perfect example of the lack of Aleph Tav symbols is in the book of Ruth. Ruth's name is used 12 times in the entire book. The first 10 times, there is no Aleph Tav symbol in front of her name. But after she is redeemed by Boaz, the next 2 times her name is used. An Aleph Tav symbol is in front of her name both times. Solomon is no different. In all his wisdom, Solomon has Aleph Tavs in front of his name throughout the Hebrew text, beginning when he was anointed with oil and chosen to be king. But after he sins in chapter 11 by going against Father's command, and not only marries foreign women, but sets up high places to worship Ashtoreth in the land of Israel. And after Father pronounces judgment on him in verse 11, and even though Solomon's name is used nearly 30 times throughout the rest of the book of 1 Kings, and even throughout 2 Kings, there never again appears an Aleph Tav in front of the name of the wisest man to ever live on earth, King Solomon. Now, after 4 years of hard work in putting mats together, I know for a fact that I have only uncovered a small percentage of the treasures just waiting to be revealed from the placement of the Aleph Tav in the Scriptures. And so I need help to dig out the gold nuggets of wisdom. This is the whole reason Father wanted me to put mats together. I can't do it all by myself. There are over 9,000 Aleph Tavs in the Old Testament Tanakh, just waiting to reveal truth to us. Consider helping me. I'm Bill Sanford, trying to put the Aleph Tav in proper perspective in our day. Shalom.